If you're a fan of investigating the key players when two worlds collide, or you enjoy imagining how conversations that changed the world would have happened, then today's book just might be for you. Today, I'll be reviewing You Dreamed of Empires by Álvaro Enrigue. Welcome to Spencer Reads Everything. I'm your host, Spencer Duncan, and today we're taking a look at a novel that reimagines the pivotal encounter between Hernán Cortés and Emperor Moctezuma in 1519. This book caught my attention after being featured on the New York Times list of best books of 2024. Check out my playlist for that, and I was intrigued by its unique approach to historical fiction. Here is my summary. It is set over the course of a single day in 1519. You Dreamed of Empires unfolds as Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés and his entourage enter Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Mexica Empire, which is frequently called the Aztec Empire. That's a bit of a misconception, but that is, anyways, how it's usually presented to people. He is invited into the city. They anticipate a ceremonial meeting with Emperor Moctezuma. The narrative delves into the intricate dynamics between the Spaniards and the Mexica people, highlighting the cultural misunderstandings and the political machinations and the looming tension of impending conquest. Enrigue crafts a hallucinatory atmosphere, blurring the lines between reality and dream as characters navigate this complicated palace, and they partake in psychedelic rituals, and they confront their own ambitions and their own fears. The novel challenges historical inevitability by inviting readers to ponder alternative outcomes of this monumental encounter. You have your main characters, most of which most people would probably recognize. Hernán Cortés, who is the ambitious and cunning leader of the Spanish expedition. He is portrayed with a blend of arrogance and some vulnerability as he seeks to navigate the unfamiliar terrain of Tenochtitlan and its complex political landscape. Of course, you also have Moctezuma, the enigmatic emperor of the Mexica people, who is depicted as a leader at a spiritual and political crossroads. And his reliance on this hallucinogens and his introspective nature adds some real depth to his character, and it really showcases the weight of leadership during a time of unprecedented challenges. There's also, I believe it's pronounced Tenochtitlan, the sister and wife of Moctezuma. She is a steely and strategic figure within the palace. Her interactions with both the Spaniards and her own court really revealed the intricate power dynamics at play and her pivotal role in the unfolding events. There's also Jasmine Caldera, who's one of Cortez's captains and the expedition's main investor. Caldera offers a perspective of real skepticism and also some introspection that you might not exactly expect from a figure of that nature. He is also going to be overwhelmed by the grandeur of Tenochtitlan, and he begins to question, is it really going to be that easy for them to come and conquer, or what is their welcome? And he's a little more suspicious, and of course he is very curious about the true intentions of their hosts. Then you have Malinayi, or sometimes she's called La Malinche. She is an enslaved Nahua princess serving as one of Cortez's translators. Her linguistic skills and cultural insights position her as a key intermediary, and her strategic maneuvering highlights her agency among all of these colonial encounters. She goes on to actually be a very interesting character. If you study this time period in more depth, you will certainly see her pop up more. You also have Friar Aguilar. He's a very taciturn friar and the other translator for Cortés, and his presence really underscores the religious undertones of this conquest and the complexities of communication between the two cultures. This novel, You Dreamed of Empire, is a relatively short novel, but I'd still say it really packs a pretty profound narrative punch. The translation by Natasha Wimmer is, I think, quite commendable. I think she does an excellent job at capturing the beauty and nuance of what Enrigue's prose must have been in Spanish, because they are certainly quite appealing in English as well. The language is undeniably beautiful. I mean, it very much is immersing the readers in a surreal and a tense atmosphere, and it's really making Tenochtitlan its own character in this book, and just showing what it's like on the brink of conquest. I would say one challenge that I encountered was keeping track of the numerous characters. I already named to you the main characters. Even keeping track of those was sometimes kind of hard to know who was talking, who was thinking, but then there's a lot of other characters, and they have these very intricate relationships. As I already pointed out, Moctezuma is both the husband and brother of his sister, so again, just showing how complicated these relationships can be. That one has definitely more of that ick factor there, but it is just, you know, one of the many examples of how complicated things seem, and just how hard it is to track everyone and what exactly the relationship is to each other. The novel even begins with a list of main characters to aid the readers, which is helpful, but it's also very indicative of the complexity that you're going to find within the novel, and it also puts a little bit of the work on you to frequently go back and reference and see if that helps you to track what exactly is going on. And sometimes it does, but it doesn't always. Additionally, if you're listening to the audiobook, that's not something that you can do. And so you just have a lot of different issues that can make it a bit of a challenge to really track what exactly is going on at every point of this novel, which isn't always a bad thing, but for such a short novel, that did kind of take me by surprise. I'd say that the complexity, while it's enriching the narrative, it can also sometimes just be a little overwhelming. But the concept of narrating the conquest of the Aztec Empire through a novel is very fascinating. And for the most part, I would say that the author delivers quite well. And the blend of this historical event with the hallucinatory sequences, it really creates a dreamlike quality that challenges traditional historical narratives. And I'd also say that it relieves some of the tension of having historical accuracy in something that we just don't have a ton of records for. And I kind of appreciate that. As a historian, I'm always conflicted. I want to see people explore and to try new ways of telling history or engaging with history, but that does also always leave us at this crucial moment of understanding, well, how much was accurate, how much of it was just for the narrative, and just what exactly should I get out of it in terms of a good story, and what should I get out of it in terms of better understanding history. And I would say that there's enough in this book that is clearly not historically accurate. At the very least, there's no way that we could verify it, and for that reason, it actually takes some of the burden off of feeling like this is one of those books that is giving you any real additional history. It is not. It's just a really well-written book that maybe gives you a little more appreciation, but it is certainly not going to give you any real in-depth knowledge because it's all speculative. So who is this book for? Well, if you're a reader who appreciates this literary fiction that delves into historical events and has that very surreal and very introspective lens, then this book is probably for you. I'd say fans of authors like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, another surrealist author that comes from the Spanish-speaking world, or if you're interested in alternative histories, you will probably find much to really admire in Enrique's approach. Who might this book not be for? Well, readers who prefer a straightforward narrative or have difficulty managing a large cast of characters, especially a large cast of characters in a short novel, are certainly going to find this challenging, and that may be justification for you to not pick this book up. Also, the hallucinatory elements and the shifts between reality and dreams really requires a willingness to engage with an ambiguity and a complexity that some people just are not going to be interested in, and I understand that. I would say that You Dreamed of Empires is a beautifully crafted and thought-provoking novel that reimagines a critical moment in history. And while it certainly demands attentive reading, the rewards are ample for those that are willing to immerse themselves in its intricate tapestry. Of course, I would love to hear what you guys thought about this book. If you read it, please let me know in the comments. But don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and until next time, keep those pages turning.